Greetings everyone who clicks on this video. Hope this finds you dancing in Wonderland. Yesterday you may have noticed on our page I posted a image of the book by Charles Eisenstein, The More Beautiful World Our Hearts Know Is Possible. And if any of you may have already seen that over the last few years on my YouTube channel, Simon on the Sofa, I was recording this book, reading this book. I'm like halfway through. Good morning, beautiful people. Hey Charlie. So I was on page chapter 34 yesterday, and it was inspired me. I said I was reading two chapters, the chapter on truth and the chapter on consciousness. And also, just so you know, Charles Eisenstein, phenomenal being, but everything that he creates, he offers as the gift. And the gift, living in the gift, is also a online program course that he shares on his website, that you can share whatever your heart wants to give from a place of heartfelt trust, and you can explore a deeper dive into what it means to live in the gift. And I've been living in the gift for many years now, exploring with different modalities, but now finding my way within the gift. And he shares on his website all of the books that you can read as a gift and then contribute whatever you want. So if you're inspired by what I read or what I share from this book, then you have no reasons not to explore this content if it inspires you. So I wanted to just read you a little snippet from the chapter 34 of consciousness. I mean, there's a few that I've been highlighting and aligning different parts. But I know that in this fast-paced world, there's not much time. Everyone's rushing. There's so much content. 1.5 billion people on Facebook. Information overload. I get it. My passion and offering is always to invite you, the listener, the viewer, to fall in love with your magnificence. Just a little bit more. Just to love yourself today for existing, for being here, for breathing in this elixir, prana of life. And that you are the miracle. You're magnificent. I'm the miracle. We're all already whole, right? But that's a whole rewiring that has to take place. So I love this little snippet. I'm going to read to you. Page 253. So enlightenment is a group project. Today, the breakout of consciousness into the story of interbeing is happening for the first time on such a mass level as to obviate old teachings about spiritual practice, gurus and masters. The age of the guru is over. Not because we don't need help from the outside in order to inhabit a new story, but because the transition is happening to so many people in so many ways. No one person can, on his or her own, serve the traditional function of a guru. Those who tried to serve this role in the late 20th century, if they hadn't the good grace to pass away or the good sense to retire from guruing, generally came to ignominious ends, embroiled in scandals of money, sex, and power. This wasn't because they were charlatans. Most, I believe, were people of profound insight, mystical experience, and deep practice. But the water table of consciousness had risen to such a point that it came gushing from many new springs, and none were able to hold the energy. To be sure, there remain many teachers today with wisdom, integrity, both within and without traditional lineages, who have much to offer. I have met quite a few of them, people far wiser than myself, but each, it seemed, needed teachers of his or her own, and many of the ones I admire the most readily acknowledge that. Sorry, I'll read that again for you. And many of the ones I admire the most readily acknowledge that. So it is not that we can rely solely on the inner guru. As many of you have probably heard the whole thing of go within, trust your own inner guru. As some New Age teachings would have us think. It is that the guru, unable now to incarnate in something as small as a single person, takes the form of a group. As Thich Nhat Hanh says, the next Buddha will be a Sangha. As Matthew Fox says, the second coming of Christ will be the advent of Christ consciousness in everyone. Perhaps it might be said that the millennia-long work of the saints, sages, mystics, and gurus is nearing completion. They have nearly rendered themselves obsolete. So that's just the end of the chapter before it goes into the chapter on destiny. And I just wanted to read, for some of you, I know many of you don't maybe know who Charles Eisenstein is. So he's a friend that I had the pleasure of getting to know because of Simon on the Sofa. I've sat with him in conversation and just being totally, I know many of you know I'm totally inspired by him as a messenger, as a great thinker of our times. A really very humble and beautiful messenger, in my opinion. And in the front of the book, this is the book if you've just jumped on, there's a few write-ups from different people. Beautiful Polly Higgins, rest in peace Polly Higgins, another beautiful friend of mine. I'm still grieving her departure a few not so long ago, a month or so ago. Anyway, Polly Higgins was a friend of Charles Eisenstein, and I met them both at a very similar time, back in 2011, I think. Anyway, small details, sorry, but just acknowledging them both, beautiful messengers of our humanity. So it says, this book will change your world. It is beautiful because Charles Eisenstein has the courage to be vulnerable, and it is in acknowledging our vulnerability that we will realize our greater humanity. That's by Peter Owen Jones, a presenter of Around the World in 80 Faiths, an author and a priest. And then Brad Blanton says, God damn, this is good. This version of The Big Story by Charles Eisenstein is one of the best I've ever heard. Charles, you are speaking for millions of us, and we so know what you are saying to be true. We will absolutely tell the whole fucking world about it. I love that. Brad from Radical Honesty. So yeah, I guess on some level I'm just telling the whole fucking world about it. I hope you've been inspired by this little snippet. I often say to people that that we are it. The guru is within. If you even want to change it, the wisdom, the innate knowledge, the awareness can be cultivated or is cultivated right here, right now. As even Eckhart Tolle says, once you understand the power of now and you're in the power of now, you no need to keep practicing to get to the power of now once you realize the now is here. And I love as Krishnamurti, many great messengers, but Jiddu Krishnamurti, also says in many of his offerings, but the truth is a pathless land, and the truth will arise uninvited. I love that so much. We start going seeking for truth and thinking we know the truth, and there's many different perspectives to tap into. And what I love about Charles's book and many of his offerings is he's inviting us into the co-creation, the story. He's inviting us to ask ourselves what narrative we want to bring in. And of course, there's many talk of we're not story. Let's move beyond our story and obviously moving into the big questions of what is truth and who am I, right? This is where the spiral leads us. But along the way, really knowing that our thoughts and our feelings are creating our behaviors and our actions, and we are here in this beautiful cosmic soup, this blank canvas of the field of consciousness, and we're creating, we're making stories up every moment. So yeah, I hope this inspires you in some way. I'm wishing you a magnificent day wherever you are on this beautiful planet, this wondrous, mysterious experience that we're all a part of. And I hope that you can tap into some gratitude today for the miracle of who you are, and really just breathing some really big, deep breaths of prana, elixir, oxygen, whatever name you want to give it, life force. And just take some moments to know that you are already it. You're already it. And I do know that that brings up a whole heap of diminishing, limiting thoughts and beliefs, patterns for people when I share this. And it is a rewiring that, takes place. But the more that you keep coming back to that breath and that rewiring, that consistency around, oh wow, I'm a miracle. I'm no other expression of me on the planet. Yeah, I made it through 200 and however many millions of sperm cells that rushed towards the womb for the womb to say, the yes and the two to connect, and then boom, you were birthed into this magnificent dimension, this mystery, right? That's just, for me, blows my mind every single moment. Moves me beyond even thinking I know anything. Taps me into the intelligence far beyond what words can describe. So yeah, let's co-create this beautiful world right here, right now. Sending you. Sending you beautiful love. Thank you for those that tuned in. And Janet just said, the beautiful exchange of light energy in this amazing holographic universe. Yes, exchanging the light dance. And I love these beautiful words of, you may have heard me share these many times, but I like repetition. And that is to participate in to joyously participate in the divine ecstasy of creation. So beyond all the stories, beyond all the different theories, thoughts, ideas, ideals, theologies, all the different contributions of all the many different beings that have walked this mystery before us, our ancestors, everyone that's lived before us and had to live the way they did to survive the way they did in order for us to be here now, expressing life force through us, acknowledging all of them, and then welcoming in the divine play. The divine play. And then coming from that place, because there's so much fear in the world right now, right? There's so much fear and worry about extinction and climate, and the species will die out, and all this, so many different concepts and perceptions. In mass extinction happening with many of our divine sentient beings on this planet. And so, we have to really in my opinion, come back to this place, right? Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. But mine is like, if we come back to this love, this awareness, deep awareness, then the solutions come from that space, not from a fearful, closed, protected space. And if we tap into that space of awareness and this idea that, moving beyond into the eternal, beyond linear time, beyond beginning and end, and then you start to go, okay, how can I really show up today beyond the limitations? Ciao. Have a beautiful day. Thank you all, whoever tunes in. Thank you for sharing and enjoying the offerings we put out in the world, and for your comments and for everything else. Thank you to Charlie, a beautiful man, my friend, who said hello this morning, and I really appreciate you sharing the things we share on your beautiful page. I acknowledge you and sending you beautiful love, hugs, virtual hugs around the world to all of you. Ciao.